Hello guys and welcome back to Custom Gamer. My name is Daz and this is the show where we talk about level design while playing cool maps. Today we're having a look at yet another map in the Honey map jam, which was released a couple of weeks ago for Quake. In this jam, mappers had a couple of weeks to create a level in the Honey theme. Honey being a level by CZG, should check it out on Quaddicted, it's really good. This is Scampie's entry, it's called Ratz in Wallz. Yes, thank you very much Scampie. It's a very cool map, lots of interconnecting areas. Some cool ambushes, some interesting use of zombies as keys, and some cool homages to older Quake maps such as Honey, and a lovely Ramiro lift at the end. Can't go wrong with the Ramiro lift. So, let's go and have a look, shall we? Okay, so the first really cool thing about the map is that you're lowered down on this platform and you can see a couple of areas from your vantage point that you can end up in later. You see the super nail gun up there, so it's obviously an impetus to the player to find a way up right from the very start. A lot of the progression on this map is vertical, so I really like the intro, kind of giving the player that kick to like, okay, upwards is good. So you see that the door here is jammed. This is interesting because later on when you press the button to open this door, all you get is a prompt saying door is unjammed. So if you don't go and investigate that door at the beginning, you might get a little bit confused as to what door is actually opened with that button. Luckily it is right below you, so hopefully you can hear it open when you press the button if you didn't investigate it at the start. So as you can see, the Honey theme is faithfully recreated. It's slightly smaller scale here in most of the areas. There are a couple of areas where it really opens up, you get that big kind of chasm feel, and the fog really helps as well, kind of picking out all the architectural elements. But generally it does feel a lot smaller than some of the other maps in the pack. It's not a bad thing, it's actually great to have some variation here, but I think Scampie did a great job making it still feel like a Honey map, even though it is smaller scale. So you've still got all the things like the Tim Burton style iron kind of grating everywhere. You've still got the, you know, overriding brick texture along everything else. And like I say, the map does open out to some larger areas like you're seeing here with these giant chasms. I think the fog setting here works really well. So if you look up, you can't actually see where the chasm ends. The chasm is raised high enough so that the fog value used in the map hides the top. I believe it hides the bottom as well, which is really what you want to aim for. It can feel a little bit gamey when you can kind of see this kind of the top of the chasm there. Doesn't look quite right, but Scampie does a great job hiding it. So here's the zombies that you can use as a button. So I think the language here could have been a bit better. I.e., you can't kill the zombies right now, and there's like a zombie face kind of plastered on the door there. So there's a couple of hints there, but I didn't quite put it together on my first playthrough. I ended up just kind of shooting the zombies with a grenade just because they were there and it happened to open the door, which was great. So I think it could have been presented slightly better. There are other zombies in the map. I think if they'd been used as keys as well, for instance, perhaps crushing a zombie with a like a moving like crush or something, which opens a door for you, to kind of really get the player into a mindset of zombies as keys. I think it's a really interesting concept that can be explored better. But it works well enough here, but I just think more could have been done with it. Zombies are always really interesting maps because of how they work in Quake, i.e. you need a quad damage or an explosive weapon to kill them. So there's a lot of cool things you can do with them, such as having them harassing the player at the start of the level, they can't get rid of them, using them like Scampie does here as keys to open a door that the player can't get to at the beginning. Lots of cool stuff. So we found a pentagram secret. There are 9 secrets in this map. I've searched for, I don't even want to admit how long I searched for the 9th secret, but I couldn't find it. So you'll have to do with only 8 of them here. It's annoying because the 9th secret is probably some super awesome, you know, mega secret, but we'll see. Scampie is a crazy crustacean, so no doubt there's some kind of crazy secret in this map that I just cannot find. So this room here is where you're going to be spending a lot of time in the map. It's a 3-floored area where you kind of spiral around the outside, and there's lots of items hidden in the slime in the middle here. I really like this. It's a really simple gameplay mechanism, i.e. you're asking the player, do you want to sacrifice a couple of points of health for a little bit of extra ammo? Because generally speaking, you're safe in this room when you first come into it here, once you kill the ogres up there, of course. But I think it's a really cool little trick, like do you want to damage yourself slightly for extra ammo as a reward? The caveat being that if you're quick with the pentagram in the previous room, you can probably get in here and pick up some of these items before taking damage, which is kind of nice as well. But I think it's an interesting idea. I like it a lot. As we make our way up here, there's a couple of obstacles in our way, some Wallz and things. I'm starting to really dislike having the Wallz by themselves like this, because there's generally no challenge to it. You're kind of popping out from cover, firing off a couple of shots, then popping back in cover to avoid the Vor ball, and there's nothing really to disrupt that kind of play style. I'm really starting to favour maps which really mess with the player's kind of gameplay patterns. So for instance, maps which disrupt the Shambler dance, because Shamblers are really not dangerous anymore. For a Quake player that's been playing as long as I have, the Shamblers don't scare me one bit anymore. Shamblers with other enemies to disrupt the pattern of the Shambler dance is scary, because then you're going to start taking lightning bolts and other kinds of damage as well. So I think combinations are really starting to almost become a requirement in Quake maps, just because people have been playing so long now. You really need to start disrupting these patterns, otherwise people are just going to get very bored playing levels, I think. So, not that it's too much of a problem in this map. There are a couple of areas where you're fighting single Wallz, but for the most part it's fine. But I just think in general, if you're building Quake maps in 2014, especially this, I guess this is aimed more towards new authors, because all the old school crew generally know this, but if you're creating newer maps, you really want to think about your monster combinations and how you're presenting them, because just putting a Shambler in the player's face isn't really effective anymore, because I would say 9 out of 10 Quake players can kill a Shambler with an axe without taking a single point of damage these days. But if you bring in a Shambler with perhaps a couple of Knights, then that becomes interesting, because the Knights are going to mess with your play pattern. I think it's worth exploring, especially on things like hard skill. Perhaps on easy you can teleport in a Shambler, and on hard you teleport in a Shambler with some extra enemies as well, just to disrupt the pattern. So yeah, that was a little bit of a tangent. Let's talk about the level, shall we? So now that we've got the grenade launcher, we can go back and kill those zombies and open up the zombie door. I like that Scampie adds a couple of zombies around this arena here. I'm guessing this was to kind of jog the player's memory, like, hey, remember those zombies that you couldn't kill before? Maybe you should go and have a look at them now. But I don't think it quite works. It's nice that it's there, but it certainly didn't work for me on my first time through the map. I just thought, zombies, cool, I'll kill them. Yeah, I just think if there'd been a little bit more repetition, for instance, like I mentioned before, killing a zombie with a crusher and it opening a door for you or something like that, and have that be a theme in the level, so that when the player sees a zombie they think, okay, this guy is guarding something, or something's going to happen when I kill this guy. So I think there's a lot of gameplay there, especially if you can't quite get to the zombie at first. Even if you have a grenade launcher, so you have to kind of work out how to get to him to kill. There's a lot of interesting ideas there. There we go, we can kill this guy and open this up. There's an interesting mix of base enemies as well, which I guess was in Honey too, but it always felt strange to me that there were base enemies in this kind of environment. But it's not, I guess it's a personal niggle, there's nothing actually wrong with it. It's nice to have the enemy variety. So we've got some shortcuts here. I really dislike these platforms that come out of the wall. I really wish it was an entire section of walkway which raised up so you could just walk across. It's just really fiddly to kind of jump onto that little platform, and I'm not going to lie, I fell through the bars a couple of times back down below. It was really annoying. So we opened up this quad damage secret slightly earlier by shooting the wall button, but we couldn't reach the teleporter yet, which is another thing I didn't really like. Like, if you find a secret button, I feel like you should be rewarded for finding it pretty much instantly. But you know, we got there in the end. There's some more zombies that are just kind of lying around, which I think it would have been nice to actually use them as a mechanical element as well. So this is where the first kind of level homage comes in, I guess, in that there's a double lift here, i.e. there's a lift, you can get on the lower portion of it, it will raise you up, you can jump out, and when it goes back down you can jump onto the top of the lift and it will raise you up even further, which was used in Honey by CZG, so it's a nice little reuse of a mechanic there in CZG's map, which is kind of cute. It's definitely used to good effect here as there's a nice secret under it. Of course, everyone knows that you have to have an underlift secret in a Quake map. It's like an unwritten rule. Like, you can't even release your level if you don't put an underlift secret in it. It's, you know, it's one of those things. And I've been playing terribly in this demo, so I definitely need that armor. Taken a boatload of damage in this demo, but I thought it was quite a nice demo to show because more drama when you're on low health, you know. You can see here the lift raises back down, and then you can jump on top of it to raise you up to the 3rd floor, which I like a lot. It's a cool idea. If I remember right, this is how you got the rocket launcher in Honey by CZG. Jumping on the top of the lift. Now if you look down here, there's the beginning of the level below you. There's a nasty secret hidden here. Only the most eagle-eyed players probably found it, I think. A tiny little button up there. I suppose it is full bright, so maybe more people found it than I'm guessing, but it is a lightning gun secret, so very nice to find. Especially if you decided to jump in the slime to get the extra ammo for it. So this is where we could see up to at the very beginning of the map when we were lowered down on the platform. And this is where it says door is unjammed. And you can hear the door open, but you can't see it from where the button is. So I imagine some players might get a little bit confused if they didn't check out the button at the beginning and got the door is jammed message. But I think it works well enough. A nice little slope jump to get that health. That's pretty cute. You can probably jump off the stair railing as well, honestly. I'm not going to lie, I re-recorded this demo about 3 times because when I went to do that slope jump to get the health, I failed it and it took me about 10 attempts to do it. So this is the 2nd level homage. We've got the almost carbon copy of Dismal Oubliette by John Romero. It's pretty cool to see. There's a couple of maps that have done descending lifts like this. This is a very cool version of the mechanic. There's no spike shooters or anything like that. There's just a fairly difficult combat, especially on hard skill. It's fairly challenging. Unfortunately, the lift bugs out a little bit here for me and takes away most of my armor. It's a shame. This is the only time it's happened to me in this map, and I don't remember it happening in Quake in general very often at all. It's a very strange bug. But we'll deal with it. Of course there has to be a spawn because this is a Scampie map. God damn it. What is it with spawns, Scampie? Tell me this. We just about make it through in the end. And of course I completely forget that there are 2 shamblers hiding behind this door, so yeah, that's a thing. If you remember in the original Dismal Oubliette, the doors opened and you had a couple of Wallz back there guarding the rune before the exit. You've got something similar here with 2 shamblers. And that is that. So if you managed to find the 9th secret, please let me know where it was, because bloody hell I can't find it. I even no-clipped around the map for about 20 minutes trying to find it. But no luck. But yeah, it's a really cool map. I enjoyed playing it a lot. Some interesting mechanics there. Very cool. So almost done with Map Jam 1. We got Skekki's map to look at and Socks, which are both fantastic. So I'm looking forward to doing videos of those. And then I think I might take a break before Map Jam 2 and do a couple of single releases, because there's a couple I want to cover. And then we'll go on to Map Jam 2, which was just a phenomenal map pack. If you haven't played it yet, I heartily recommend you go and check out Map Jam 2 over at quaddicted.com. It's an amazing pack. So many good maps in it. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video, guys. I'll see you next time.